Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're going to be starting in 1 minute. I saw Raviv. Where did he go?
Gail, have you made me co-host?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the junior high session. And these are the people that are presenting in session 1. They will each introduce themselves. They will speak for a few minutes, and in their presentation, we'll give you information on how to be in touch with them or access their materials, which you will get after the session to be able to go into their PowerPoints and click on any more information that they may have there. We are going to hear Sybil, Siggy, Brandon, Raviv, Esti, and Alina, one after the other. Each has 5 minutes, and it's time to start with Sybil. So let's go.
Okay, so can I share my presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. If I click on this button, do you see the whole presentation?
No, Sybil, quickly do a new share like we practiced. Put it on present and then do a new share.
Okay, I have no idea. No problem. New share.
Thank you. Good. Now you're okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Sybil. 9 years ago, I was a new teacher. The principal at the time asked me to come on Fridays, which was my day off, and teach a group of students. The concept was not entirely clear, and it wasn't a lesson in the schedule, and it really didn't feel exactly like I was their teacher. But during those lessons, I discovered behaviors and friendships that were born precisely under those conditions. There was some magic there that did not exist in the classroom. From this experience, and for years, I wanted to set up a club after school to allow students to connect. But again, new teacher, first year, I had to prove myself. And it didn't leave me any room to realize this idea, so it remained somewhere in the back of my head. 6 years ago, I remembered the same group of students and asked the class I was teaching what they thought about an English club outside of school hours. When I saw that enthusiasm, I realized it was the next step. I found a space inside the school, the Center for Strategies Learning. It was a place with beanbags, armchairs, and a nice feeling to it. I asked the person in charge for permission to use it once a week after school. And that was it. We set off. The book club was on its way. At that time, I started with a group of 8th graders. I got part-time hours for the hours I was in the club with the children. We all started to read Alice in Wonderland. And after a while, we organized a tea party for the whole school. Then an exhibition of the creative book reports. Many students wanted to join. At that point, there were 25 students from 8th grade to 11th grade. After a few months, I organized lectures with other teachers, interesting people, and even someone from the aerospace industry. The principal heard about the book club and its activities. which were done under the radar without anyone's help, and was very surprised. I think it was the first time he experienced me as someone who cares so much. Then I participated in a competition organized by the הקרן לעידוד יוזמות חינוכיות. I passed the first stage, then the interview, and then I got a prize among 120 initiatives. The money helped developing the book club by buying books, games, and floor cushions. After the first group came the next generation. The 7th graders who started the next generation are finishing their 9th grades now and still members of the club. The book club has a new place, furnished with rugs, a sofa, and cushions on the floor. This year, there are 2 sessions a week, one for the 8th graders and one for the 9th graders. Every session starts with the same ritual, a nice cup of tea and cookies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sybil. Wow. And now it's time to move on to Siggy. Siggy, you can share your screen and...
Yes, okay. Okay. So, hi everyone, my name is Siggy. I've been teaching English for more than 30 years in Golda Meir Junior High School in Ness Ziona. I'm also the coordinator and the vice principal. And I would like to share with you my initiative, which is an ebook done by Book Creator. So for the last 2 years, ever since the pandemic, we've been trying to make lemonade, to reinvent school, to reevaluate our teaching, to think outside of the box, and to try and transform the traditional face-to-face lessons into more effective online lessons while getting acquainted with the latest technology. Last summer, we asked ourselves, what's worth keeping? And we came out with a model called Personal Tuesday, where the first 2 hours each Tuesday open with remote learning in different subjects. The aim is to encourage independent learning, collaboration, creativity, time management, and autonomy while using appealing digital tools. The challenge was to come up with a more up-to-date, engaging way of teaching rather than just using the textbook, and to adapt it to the school's model of remote learning. We had to find an interesting, relevant subject, one that is suited for Group A 9th graders. Using Book Creator, I made a 4 lessons teaching unit about the Amazon. Each week, the students worked on a different topic, and in each lesson, they had 1 task to submit, to which they got feedback. The results were great. The students enjoyed their work. The learning was more effective. They managed their own time. They were introduced to a new digital tool. They decided whether to work alone or with friends. They chose which tasks to do, and they shared their work with their friends in the Padlet boards. Okay, I'm now going to show you the book, just a second. Okay, so this is the book, The Amazing Amazon. Okay, lesson 1. It begins with a recording inviting the students to go on a virtual trip to the Amazon to explore the rainforest. Then there is a video and a Google form. Okay, then it goes on the first lesson with the 4 layers of the Amazon rainforest. You can see that there is glossary at the bottom. There is another video and another interactive worksheet. Now, one good thing about Book Creator is Read to Me, which allows the students to listen to the text, and that makes it good both for the auditory and the visual learners. Okay, they can both benefit from that. The next lesson, lesson 2, is about the Amazon River. Okay, there is a text, a video, and another interactive worksheet. Okay. Lesson 3 is about the people who live in the Amazon, the animals and the plants. You can see how colorful it is with lots of pictures and videos. It looks kind of nice. And here the task was to write a paragraph. Again, there's a recording. Okay, they can listen to it more than once. They had to write a paragraph and then they had to upload it to a Padlet. Now the Padlet, I can show you, they can see all the friends' work because it has all the groups here. Okay, so that was nice as well. The fourth lesson is about the importance of the Amazon and also the dangers that it faces. Here the texts are a bit longer. Again, there are videos. And the task here was a creative one. They could decide here whether to work by themselves or with partners. They had 3 topics where they could choose 1 topic from 3 and 3 tasks to choose 1. And again, there was a Padlet where they had to upload it. Okay, and the last thing that they had to do was to write a reflection, okay, which also got into a Padlet. Okay, so that is the book. I can definitely say that this teaching unit validated our theory that that remote learning can happen anywhere and anytime. And when students, and the more engaged the students are, the more they will learn.
Thank you so much, Siggy. That was incredibly inspiring. And we are moving on now to Brandon. Brandon, where are you?
I'm here. Yes, I'm
Terrific.
here. Hold on 1 second. Sharing the screen. Vizel. Okay, the presentation is not happening. Hold on 1 second.
You can have 2 seconds.
Yoffy. Yoffy toffee. We are now on Zoom. So, hi everyone. My name is Brandon. I teach at Untitled Chapter up in Herzliya, and I have taught for around 7 years here in Israel and France and the United States. Today, we're going to be looking at my unit on multiculturalism and the Cinderella story. Picture it. It was Israel 2021, where COVID-19 rampaged the entire country and school was virtual. I was currently teaching there in Herzliya with my 8th grade class of Dovrai Anglit. There were under 25 students whose first language was either Hebrew, Russian, or Ukrainian. They were highly motivated, intellectually curious, and needed a challenge. This year, I'm using the same unit with over 35 students in a 5-point 10th grade class, where the majority of the students are Hebrew first language, severely LD, behavior issues, very heterogeneous, and with many non-readers. The major problem is, how do I balance and negotiate, mediate different cultural identities within the classroom? Many Israeli students are oriented in a way that they only see the world that they know. They don't know much outside of that world. So how do I balance that? And how do I assess their literary and linguistic competence while fostering their independent learning and critical thinking skills simultaneously? I did that through queer pedagogies and multiculturalism, as well as the Cinderella story. Essentially, I flipped the script. I said, question your own identity and background. Look and research into others. This is much of what Rudine Sims Bishop says, in that books are mirrors, windows, and sliding doors. Books are windows where we can see outside of our own world. They are mirrors where we can see and question our own world, and they are sliding glass doors where we can enter the world and imagine and create. In order to do this, I had to introduce the students to what multiculturalism was and brought it back into a local context with these 2 videos.
Cultures?
No. There we go. Activities that I did with the students were battleship for verbs, where they needed to create their own sentences and write the verbs and sink a battleship, just like you normally would with the board game. If I chose to do relative pronouns or relative clauses with them, I brought it back to the fairy tale context. Oh, I think I skipped that slide. Yes, they also needed to do investigations into their own traditions and languages and food. in addition to trying to meet up with those Naale students, those students who come from Russia and Ukraine without their families, and give them their own opportunity to share with each other and create those dialogues and contexts. Now we asked ourselves, how does this relate to the Cinderella story? It relates in that technology is my best friend. It relates in that every culture has their own Cinderella story, right? It's a rag to riches story. You can find one anywhere. You give them all of these elements and you say, go out and find it. The final task was that they needed to create their own presentation on Google Slides. Part of this unit is also teaching the students skills, not only just research, but also presenting. These are few examples of Cinderella stories, right? There's a boy Cinderella, there's an Irish Cinderella, a Mexican Cinderella, a Native American Cinderella, so on and so forth. Each group needed to read their own Cinderella and then present to the class. And this is where we are going now, to this student example. Okay, this particular story happened to be about Iraq. They presented about the story, they presented about the culture, they presented about how it was a Cinderella story, what the glass slipper was, and how that fit into the story of multiculturalism. And they had to give the moral of the story. That said, that's it. Thank you.
Brandon, fantastic. And you kept perfectly to time. It was fascinating and riveting. And I saw that Raviv finished up whatever he was drinking. So it's now your turn, Raviv.
What? Yeah.
Okay, can I ask everyone to mute themselves,
Please mute yourselves.
Gail, can you mute other people?
I will mute people.
Rationale
I will do it.
and Michelle, I need you to help with muting people,
Yes.
please. Please don't disturb Raviv. He only has 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've been muting.
Thank you. Okay, Raviv.
Okay, there's something somewhat ironic about asking people at a language teacher conference to mute themselves, but I think in the interest of time, we should probably do that. My name is Raviv Schwartz. I teach English at the high school and junior high school level in the city of Or Yehuda. High school is a Bronco Weiss school for youth at risk. I also teach in a master's program in social work at the Hebrew University. I've been a teacher in the school system now for about 10 years, so I'm a relatively new teacher. Came to it midlife. My idea, and I'll pull up the, with your permission, I'll pull up the screen, is called Learning from Our Mistakes. And what I would ask all of us to do is, if you can pretend you are students in my class, we are now in class only days after we've just had an exam. And I am going to share with you sentences that all of you, or each of you rather, wrote in your exams, sentences which require some correction. And I'm going to ask students to volunteer to correct what is wrong. Okay, so Brandon, if I could ask you, if you could read the sentence and tell us what's wrong with it.
You know, Raviv, I would love to, but your presentation is a bit too large. I can see nothing.
Really? Okay. Yes. Is anyone able to see the sentence? That sentence?
Yes. You were encouraging me while I was crying.
Okay, and can you perhaps offer an alternative that would be a little more correct?
You encouraged me.
You encouraged me while I was crying.
While I was crying.
Okay, my alternative here. I have something blocking my way here. Okay, we use the word in English. The more proper or more accurate term to describe Loded mishu be'et tzaro is consoling or comforting. So that's the suggestion I make. Michelle, Miriam, or Michelle rather, can I ask you to read this?
My friends doesn't supposed to take advantage of me. So
and can I ask, please?
Yeah, my friends aren't supposed to take advantage of me, or my friends shouldn't take advantage of me.
Let's hope.
There's lots of ways it can be corrected.
Very true. And can I ask one more person, a volunteer? Is Siona in the room?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Siona, can I ask you to read this one?
Of course, while all the kids laughing on me, you stood next to my oi.
And how would you suggest correcting this?
While all the kids are laughing at me, you stood next to me, or you supported me, maybe.
Okay, when I corrected these sentences in this presentation, I tried to remain as faithful to the original text. So I wrote, you stood by me. All of the sentences you see here, which are mistaken in one way or another, contain some type of error, are answers that appeared on real living exams of students. And these are my corrections, which I said I tried to remain as faithful as possible to the original text. What is the rationale behind this idea of learning from our mistakes? So first of all, although we all, I sense we all pay lip service to the idea of learning from our mistakes, but this is one of the few ideas I've ever employed that actually is based or grounded in the mistakes that my own students have made. So number one, I think there's genuine learning involved. Number two, when these students, and now they're used to this idea, I've done it in most of my classes numerous times, when they take part in this activity, they know that they are anticipating their own sentence on the board or sentences of their classmates. And that engenders excitement, in some cases, curiosity, and even maybe a little bit of intimidation. And finally, it's an exercise that when we review it, it involves reading, writing, and speaking all together. And depending on how I structure the analysis of each of these sentences, I can emphasize one over the other, depending on what I feel is necessary. Very simply, as I'm grading exams, I flag answers which I see require some type of correction. And after that, after I go through all the exams, I put them on a PowerPoint slide. Needless to say, this is a labor-intensive exercise, but it's proven worth it, at least for me. And I type fairly quickly, so it isn't too time-consuming. Then I propose a corrected version, which, as I said before, is as faithful as possible to the original text of the student. And we do this in class, and I ask students, sometimes students are eager to identify their own sentences. In many cases, students aren't all that willing to identify their own sentences, and that's fine as well. Needless to say, so as not to single out the students who are weaker in the class, I try to choose a mistaken sentence from virtually every student in the class. Generally speaking, for better or worse, that's not a problem. There's almost no exam which is perfect. Finally, in conclusion, this is an activity that really engages the students. If for no other reason, then they're eager to see if I caught any of their mistakes. They're eager to see some of the mistakes of their peers. I think some of them derive even a perverse pleasure in seeing the kind of mistakes that their classmates can make. It definitely fosters not only their own excitement, but mine as well. It can generate a lot of humor as well, provided it's in good spirits and not mean-spirited. And I think the idea that their own work is being highlighted on the big screen is something that, at least for some of them, has been a source of excitement, and it's even something they look forward to. A few students have come up to me and mentioned that this type of exercise has helped them in subsequent exams or quizzes. I have no kind of empirical data to tell you how impactful it's been. I hope it's impactful because I certainly invest a lot of time in creating it, but I have to say it's for me, it's also enjoyable. For any given exam, if I have a class of 30 students, I can generate some 18 slides, each of which consists of maybe 10 or 12 sentences. So there's a lot to go on, and this is a great way. It's a great filler activity as well. If I have 10 minutes left in a class and I see I've completed doing what I wanted to do.
Raviv,
lesson plan.
I'm sorry, you've gone over time. Can you just wrap up quickly? And I'm sure everybody's intrigued and wants to learn more. It's fascinating, but we need to move on.
Yeah, I think I pretty much touched the main points of it. Again, if you're not a quick typist, I would not recommend using this activity.
Thank you so much. And we're moving on to Esti now.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Esti Feldman, and I've been a teacher for 26 years now, 26 years. I currently teach in Harel Junior and High School in Holon. This is a religious school, and I enjoy very much teaching there. I'm going to be talking about my special project this year. Can I start sharing?
Yes, go ahead, Esti.
Okay. Just a moment. Okay, so as a teacher who believes in teaching through multiple intelligences and opening windows to the world in its literal sense, I kept exploring for ideas to enhance the quality of learning. This year, I chose class 10 from my school in Holon to join the NASA project via USA. We took it upon ourselves to learn complete units about space, spaceships, astronauts, geography, radio connection, life in the spaceship, and so on, to talk to astronauts in a spaceship. I took the materials from NASA STEM engagement site. Through ARISS site, which is astronauts in international spaceships, teachers from all over the world can schedule an interview with astronauts. Talk to them, ask them questions in real time. Every class gets the chance to have a 15-minute session time. Our interview was scheduled for next year, so eventually the connection was made with Mr. Jay Silber, that's the one, a well-known former newscaster who nowadays specializes on interviews with radio amateurs around the USA. He is the one who covers such radio conversations with astronauts in space. The interview was fascinating. Our pupils enjoyed this because they were exposed to a new avenue, a life-changing experience. As a result, I looked for some more options to connect my class and found a marvelous site called Behind the News, an Australian site which genuinely accesses the global news to pupils around the world. Part of its action is to provide the students with...
Esti, can you move on with your slides? You got stuck. You're still on slide.
This is the one. This is the one. This is the slide. Okay? Part of its action is to provide students with experts in many...
Esti?
Yes.
You need to reshare your screen on full view. We
Okay,
see just the PowerPoint, not the full.
Sorry. So where are we? Do you see what I see?
It's okay, Esti, just carry on speaking. We will share your PowerPoint afterwards.
Okay, as a result,
you're doing fantastically.
Okay, thank you. As a result, I looked for some more options to connect my class and found a marvelous site called Behind the News, an Australian site which genuinely accesses the global news to pupils around the world. Part of its action is to provide the students with experts in many engaging fields. The site hosts a news specialist and a reporter every week, live on Friday, and sends meticulous graded lesson plans to teachers about the next issue every Monday. For example, Here you can see under the Ask a Reporter section, which the next a section that the next issue will be underwater sounds. The teachers are fully equipped with tools to launch the journey, at the end of which there is a quiz they can use as a summative assessment. This is a great way to use clear tools and ESL teachers. Here we can spread our wings and let our students become the interviewers of tomorrow. The most important thing is that we nourish the natural curiosity of students and earn spirited motivational ones.
Thank you so much, Esti. This is fascinating and wonderful and wow. And we're moving on to Alina. Alina, it's your turn now. Esti, please stop sharing so that Alina can share her screen. Thank you. Go ahead, Alina.
Alina, you're on mute.
Sorry. Good evening. My name is Alina Litvinova. I've been teaching English for 18 years. I teach at Rogozi Migdala Emek. I teach both at high school and junior high. I'm a junior high coordinator at my school, and I'm a district counselor as well. And I'm going to present digital units for teaching Band 1 that were created by my staff together with me. Okay, hold on. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, great.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, everybody remembers that in September 2020, we were all in the same situation. We got kids from a half Corona period, and we still had to continue teaching remotely. And diagnostic test results were as following: 35% emergent readers, 50% had gaps in Band 1 vocabulary. The kids had a half-year Corona break from English, and we needed an urgent plan how to teach remotely to complete the gaps. So our goal as a staff, we decided that our goal was to help our students complete gaps in orthography patterns, to learn Band 1 words, and we needed to create the way suitable for our students to study Band 1, both remotely and in class, in case we go back to our classes. So we took action. Actually, I divided Band 1 vocabulary into 25 groups. Each group had 24, 26 items, and we created 25 digital units that include presentation of each set of the words, a Quizlet set, recognition exercises, production exercises, digital worksheets, live worksheets, Wiser Me worksheets. And of course, each unit contains summative assessment. It can be a test, writing task, creative task. As a result, at the end of the year, the diagnostic test has shown that we have 12% emergent readers in 12th grades, and 85% of the students in the 7th grades didn't have gaps in Band 1. Now I want to show you the units, actual units, how they look like.
Okay, Alina, 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, in my staff, we call it a library, digital units library. Can you see it? Yes? Can you see it?
Yes, we can see
Okay.
the whole presentation.
Okay, you can see all these are all the units. Okay, I want to show you, let's maybe 17. Okay. 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 It's loading. Okay. This way you can present the words in class, or if you teach distantly. You can use Quizlet. All the links work. Okay. Then students do exercises like this. Match words to their opposites. Circle word that doesn't belong. They can choose the correct answer. Finish the sentence, finish sentences to make them true for you. Okay, each unit contains games, of course, as well. If we open this one, you can have association game here. Students need to say 2-3 words in English that associate with the word that they get on the wheel. Okay, I will go back to presentation. Of course, as I mentioned, every unit contains Wiser Me or live worksheets. Here is the link for the teacher, where the teacher can open the link for either it is Wiser Me or live worksheet. Each worksheet contains categorization exercise, reading comprehension exercise, matching words to their synonyms. Okay. And of course, summative assessment. Here, this is a creative task. Okay, students are asked to make a story using new words. Okay, they use words from groups from 1 to 17. They study it gradually from group 1 to 17. They create a comic strip and then share it where the teacher wants them to share. Okay.
Alina, you are getting the most amazing feedback on the chat.
Yes,
and
I'm summarizing. Yes,
everybody wants to know where they can get the units. So
they will get the units. My presentation is, as you mentioned, my presentation will be shared after this wonderful conference, and in my presentation you can find the link to all the units, to the whole library. My staff, Ortrogozin, Migdala Emek Junior High, we're happily sharing this this wonderful tool, and I hope if it worked for our students, it will work for your students as well. Enjoy.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to my staff.
As we had 6 presenters and all the other groups had 5, we're running a bit late, so I'd like you to please hurry back to the main room, the main stage, which you can get into either with the link that Michelle sent or from the landing page, which I just sent. I want to thank you all very much, and we'll be back here a bit later for the second round of junior high presentations. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for coming.